Welcome to the Midnight Run. We're honored by your attendance. Your host, Denobi2.
I'm here, folks. I'm here. Good evening. Welcome to another unscheduled Midnight Run, September the 10th, 2023. Hope you wonderful folks are doing good out in the East Coast, Central Coast, Mountain Time, Pacific. I know you wonderful folks on the East Coast are staring down the barrel of the Category 5 hurricane, which you lucky states are going to be blessed. Ooh. Wow, let's check in. What do we have over here? Charlotte, North Carolina. Hello, Eric. Eric Heinke, Charlotte, North Carolina, 3 a.m. How many giant man are you back in? Let's talk about that. David Lash, you never make midnight runs and you're in California. Well, it must be a slow night for you. So I am grateful that you decided to join me. Funky Cold Santa from Dallas, Texas, 2:04 a.m. Hello. Kumar from Malaysia, 3 p.m. I thank you from the other side of the world. Thank you, Kumar, for joining me. I always appreciate it. I always love when you folks check in from all parts of the world. I know here in Las Vegas it is midnight, but other parts of the world it's different time zones. And I always like to know who I'm reaching at, where my little fingers are touching. Show me where I'm touching you. Orion Blue, hello from Los Angeles. New face here. Thank you. Hello, Orion. Andre from London. Hello, Andre, CBS Sci-Fi. Hello here from the United Kingdom. Hello, everybody. Philly Billy. Hello. How is everybody doing tonight? I didn't need to, I was so busy prepping for this midnight run. I probably forgot to do a couple things. And let me dabble here because this is kind of like short notice. I didn't really plan for it. I just I got bored and I wanted to just check in. I wanted to just touch. I wanted to touch you folks and see where exactly everybody is within the world of hot toys. 1/6 scale figures, HasLabs, Kickstarters, big ticket items. How's the pressure? We're approaching the holidays. We're very near the holidays, and I just wanted to. I got bored last hour. I got bored. I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about my 2 highly anticipated hot toy figures. And man, it's been a wacky year so far for 2023. You would think because I'm a Back to the Future fan that the Doc and Marty, the Western versions of Back to the Future Part 3 would have been somewhat highly anticipated, right? Meaning as soon as they come in, I'm excited. I'm going to unbox them and I'm going to take some photos and whatnot. I haven't. I've had them for about a month. They're still in their shipper. I'll get to them when I get to them. They were not my highly anticipated figures of 2023. It was a nice welcome surprise to get them. But with every other thing that Hot Toys does or any other 6L, it still feels very incomplete, right? It's hard to get excited for Western figures and it's missing components like the Mark III DeLorean. If I had the Mark III DeLorean, and I do have a modified, you can actually see at the bottom of the screen right over here, I do have a modified Mark I into a 3, but it's modified. It's a train version. Even though that these figures, the Doc and Marty, they were teased with a Mark III. I held out hopes. I thought maybe perhaps that Hot Toys would have blessed us with a pre-order, but they did not. And so here we are. So I've gotten a lot. It's been a busy year for me between work. I have my Bark Speeders. I haven't even opened up my Bark Speeders yet because I really don't have any space for them. In fact, you can see what I did with my Ecto-1 After Life. I reinforced the top of the Moducase, added some USB power, and it's all remote control, meaning that when I leave this room, I'd say about 80% of the stuff you see here powered on, it turns off. It's all remote control. In fact, you can actually see the remote controls. I added magnets to them, and they stick on the side of the Moducase. So those little white thingamajigs on there, those are remote controls. That way, when I leave the room, I just start turning everything off. So, touchy feel. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to get too touchy feely. Hello, Miles Morales checking in. Hello. Arlington. Hello, Mad Planet, Baltimore. Fixing up the while I listen here and call it. There you go. Oh, hey, I'll do my part, keep someone entertained. I think a lot of people will feel overzealous and get into bark speeders, even when you know the measurements. It's not the same as having them in person. They're big boxes. I have them right over here, and I don't want to open the bark speeders unless I have a home for them. And when I'm at work and it's slow, my gears start to spin, and I have these concept ideas on having them suspended from the roof of the Moducase. I'm not like most other collectors. If I need to drill into the ceiling of my Moducase, I will. In fact, my right over here, this is my Spider-Verse right here. This is my Spider-Verse, and if you can see, I've welded steel plates to the ceiling of the Moducase. So that way, if I glue magnets to the bottom of my Spider-Men, I can magnetize them and so forth. In fact, some of them even have built-in magnets already, and they just tend to stick up so to the ceiling. Hello, Kaiju Daddy. Hello, all the way from Tokyo, Japan. It's in the afternoon out there, right? What is it, like 4:30 out there in Tokyo? God, I miss Tokyo. I really, really do. I miss it. So it's been a busy year, and I get it. A lot of us collectors are seriously overwhelmed with a lot of releases and drops and whatnot. And when I have free time, I try to listen. I don't have as much free time. It's one of the reasons I tend to do the midnight runs in the summertime, because my schedule is just a little bit wacky right now. And one of my, it's not so much of a concern, it's just more of an observation, is the treatment of several hot toy releases within the community where collectors sung a different song a little over a year ago, and now it's different because the pressure is on. The pressure cooker is starting to really rise, and so it's really, when you're listening to us folks here in YouTube land who dance and party within the 1/6 scale community, it's really hard to kind of gauge opinions where they were interested for something last year or even a year ago, and then because it's released and the invoices are starting to come in, they're singing a different tune. And I know most of you have brought this up to me, and it's just, you don't know if just because if they're overwhelmed or they didn't plan accordingly. Look, this is one of the reasons I've really tried to not paint myself into a corner. I do have pre-orders, and I've kind of set my cap on my pre-order spreadsheet not to exceed 40. I think I brought it down to 35. I'm so proud of myself. I have about 35 pre-orders right now, and I'd like to bring it lower. I'd like to bring it down to 30, simply because you don't know what the algorithm of announcements are from Hot Toys or what the announcements are from Sideshow, right? We saw a perfect example of this about last month, where when the bark speeders invoices started to come in, people were mentioned, oh, my waitlist got converted. Well, yeah, because when the pressure is on and collectors are painted into a corner, they either are forced to buy, charge, or end up canceling their pre-order. So that's one of the reasons too why we have so many waitlist items on Sideshow. And then the minute that they drop and you're on that wait list, some of us are fortunate enough to get picked on to purchase it, and so forth. So yes, I don't think Moducase lead time has changed. David, you're gonna get I don't know if I should give you 10 points. You know what? You're not going to get 10 points for that. I was about to give you 10 points. I am 100% aware that the Moducase delivery times the promises that were given to us by Brian or the Moducase company as a whole has been full of shit. Yes, Moducase has been 100% bullshit with their deliveries. Yeah, especially last year where they were toting advancements in increased deliveries during last year's Black Friday. And there was a Brian mentioned that they were going to go automated with fully automaton mechanical arms, T2 style. The assembly was going to pick up, and he was going to bring it down to 6 months, if that. And it hasn't. It hasn't. No, Kumar, it hasn't. So my buddy Hada Lauren actually brought this up to me too about the delivery times for Moducase. And yeah, no, it's been bullshit. Yeah. Let me see, Moducase. Let me see, improved. I'm writing this down. There we go. Yeah. So it's not news to me. I still have one order with them. And I did make a big stink about Moducases early in the year, and I ended up getting my order accelerated. But I still have one that I placed Black Friday of last year, and at the time it was being toted 3 to 6 months. And I get it. I'm over the whole 2020 COVID excuse. That's getting kind of old. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. This is a company that I mean, they built their whole foundation on the backs of collectors and influencers, and there's some influencers out there that won't disclose. They won't air out the dirty. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I have Moducases, and their delivery times are the worst. And if there's a competitor out there better than Moducase, I'd be more than interested. But unfortunately, I haven't found a fair competitor or any alternative solution. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to go to Home Depot, buy a utility shelf, and cover it with velvet. I have really nice pieces, and as much as I bitch about Moducase, they still serve the purpose that I need them to, and that's professionally displayed, airtight. It's all about the dust. It's all about protecting the environment, and they do. So, for you folks out there that are still holding your breath, no, it's Moducase is full of shit. But I did this wasn't supposed to be a Moducase rant video, but because I see it in the comments now, and it has been brought up by several people. Hey, Denobi, maybe you should poke the bull and see what's going on, and I'm like, I was going to be fair, and I was going to do another Moducase live stream in October, because look, it's 2023, right? And he's making a killing. I mean, he's charging 2 to 3K for decent sets here. He's been in the business for a long time. He has a team. He moved up to the expensive business district in Singapore, and he still can't get his shit straight. So please don't cancel my order, though. I have a corner unit. I still need that corner unit. I still need my corner unit. Don't get mad at me, Brian. Don't go, don't go pouting outside the warehouse and that Denobi too. He's always getting me. He gets me so mad. I still need my Moducase pre-order. Look, dude. Moducase improved time was a lie. All right. Take that out there. We'll take that out there. Let's get over to C3PO. We're hearing about C3PO. I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream that there's a certain amount of figures that I'm really excited for. I'm talking figures that spur the imagination. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the R&D is, the technological achievements that Hot Toys can deliver. And this is one of them. This right here is absolutely one of them. This right here, I cannot wait. The C3PO here represents so much. It's a die-cast figure. It is I mean, for a while there, it was like the Chupacabra. It was like the unicorn. And, a few years ago, we had live streams with ridiculous, speculative, imaginative opinions as to why Hot Toys couldn't deliver a protocol droid, a C3PO, right? And yet we got one. Not only did we get one at a very good, decent time, just a little over a year, I want to say. Like 14, 15 months, if somebody wants to correct me. I know it's just over a year, and that's actually the normal estimated time that Hot Toys. With Hot Toys, it always used to be anywhere between like 10 to like 15 months. But because this is a die-cast figure, and this probably required expensive tooling and machining and so forth, not to mention the paint and the weather and whatnot. Yeah, this right here probably it made sense. It made 100%. Corner unit is the key. Yes. Yes, it is. Return of the Jedi C3PO for me. Yes. So I get it. Hot Toys decided to release a Return of the Jedi C3PO. I get that. It makes perfect sense. Hello, collector. Hello, hello. But the problem is that he's skipping out on the Attack of the Clones C3PO can run you into trouble down the road, right? I think I mean, just looking at these blogger photos, it looks fantastic. It does. Uh, one, so I think one of the reasons why C3PO in the last week or so, I've been listening to live streams, why he's being dismissed. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I'm gonna Return of the Jedi. This isn't my C3PO, right? A lot of it's odd versus and maybe it's not fair. At the time this guy was announced, we didn't know that we were gonna get a Return of the Jedi, and everybody was just stoked. I was a little bit perplexed that they would christen the goldenrod with the Attack of the Clones version. I thought that was just a bit odd. Oh, that's weird. I thought that was a little bit weird. But I mean, it was a surprise, but a very welcomed surprise, say the least. And I think my theory as to why he's being dismissed so easily is because there's not collectors right now don't have a significant valued piece to accent C3PO. And I'll explain. Some of you may not have R2D2 in your collection, right? Some of you may. And there's something really cool. There's something really magical when you get these two guys together. When you have the Attack of the Clones R2D2, and you either are going to get the Attack of the Clones C3PO or you have them on pre-order, something about them. It's kind of like the Wonder Twins. When you put them together, there's now a sense of a achievement. They power up. It's kind of like you're building a set and you start to see, I don't want to use the word the value, but you start to see the shine, the achievement of having these guys. And if you're, say, a year one collector, and when I mean a recent year one collector, someone that just started, let's say 2020, right? And you're just building your Star Wars collection, you may not have a vested interest in seeing the true value and the potential in what C3PO, this specific version, I'm not talking about Return of the Jedi C3PO, I'm talking about this guy right here, Attack of the Clones, right? If you don't have a Count Dooku, if you don't have something that can really make this guy shine. For example, the battle droid, the Geonosian battle droid. How cool would it be to have the the whole Geonosian battle droid set up right here? You just took an average boring figure, and by placing them together, by displaying them together, you create that spark, that fusion spark of like, look how badass this is now. You now have a Geonosian battle droid next to Attack of the Clones C3PO, and his head's been swapped, and he's been he's been tweaked and finagled, and now you have a completely different character. There is so much potential into this figure, and I don't know if collectors are dismissing C3PO because it's not goldenrod, it's not the version, or if it's because they're overwhelmed. Because look, I get it. There's a lot of stuff to buy. And it's easy to dismiss this version of C3PO and just sandbag things to the side. Like, oh, 350, 300. I'll hold my breath for the Return of the Jedi C3PO, right? Or it could just be that this guy is already on wait list, and you may, as a collector, you may need a little bit more time to save up. And because he's already on wait list, and by the time you save up for him, he's going to go into a chase price, meaning he'll start to break for, because he's going to, make no mistake, this guy's going to start to break $400 to $500, probably buy before Christmas. It just is. It just is. Because he's sold out, at least through the US retailers that I follow. This guy's already sold out, and he's on Sideshow wait list and so forth. So you don't know if the influencers you're listening to are just stressed, are just overwhelmed, or like I can't really swing this guy right now, and they're just easily because I get it. The Attack of the Clones C3PO is an easily dismissible character, but if you don't have the right achievement characters to make this guy shine, right, you don't see the full potential. You don't see the glory. You don't. Oh, there's my word. You lack scope. You don't see the full scope of what this guy, as a Star Wars collector, can do for your collection, because you're lacking scope, because you don't have the battle droid. You don't have Count Dooku. In fact, most of the so-called Star Wars collectors I followed ended up hawking poor Dooku for a quick buck because he was a chase price, hoping that maybe he'll show up. Well, here's the thing, though. If you're a dedicated Attack of the Clones fan, having an Attack of the Clones shelf, it's going to be glorious. Make no mistake, it's going to be super glorious. And if you can swing it, absolutely give yourself a pat in the back, because you have scope. You saw the full picture of what this guy can do for you. Think about it, man. Why would you have, and this is bonkers, because some of you I know have Padme Attack of the Clones on pre-order. Wouldn't it be cool to have R2D2 and Attack of the Clones C3PO displayed with Padme here, or even Anakin, right? They're all going to complement. They're all part of the set. It's kind of like this right here, having Attack of the Clones lineup is going to be phenomenal. Attack of the Clones Anakin, Attack of the Clones Padme, Attack of the Clones R2D2, Attack of the Clones C3PO, a battle droid. The very first time we saw a battle droid was in this film. And most of you veteran collectors that decided not to hawk your Dooku, now you have Dooku. Not to mention we have Mace Windu. Like, this is going to be a stellar Attack of the Clones lineup. But I get it. Maybe some of you out there lack scope because you don't see the full picture. Kumar Anamali, thank you so much for the super chat. Want to say thank you for all of your advice. 6 months ago, stumbled to your channel talking about tapping out regarding finances. Made an order sheet with payment plans and delivery time. Best decision I am telling you, the spreadsheet is the way to go. When you see those numbers, they spook you and your wallet accordingly. I hate it. I hate my spreadsheet because it brings me down to reality. It just does. And it sucks, you know?
Wow, thank you so much for the super chat. Denobi extends his gratitude for your support. Trust knowing your contribution helps. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Is this Denobi or Aries? This is Denobi too. The difference is I speak from experience. Too soon? Shimmer and shine. Wouldn't it be cool to have both generations of the Skywalker family displayed with their respective versions of the droid? That would be cool. Yeah. That would be awesome. It's the word. It's who, like, you got to have scope. You have to see the full picture. Again, some of you out there have Anakin and Padme, and yet you're gonna sleep on Attack of the Clones. Perhaps that option is not even available. Maybe it's waitlist. Maybe it's sold out. Maybe you don't want to chase, because I get it. You have to chase Attack of the Clones C3PO. But make no mistake, it's going to be freaking fantastic. For those of you who can achieve the glorious vision of an Attack of the Clones Hot Toy Star Wars lineup, making sacrifices, balancing the books, pinching pennies, skipping on the expensive, Starbucks coffee, not going to the movies to achieve that dream. Oh, that deserves a pat on the back and then some. Yeah. It does. It really, really does, because you have to see the full vision. And this is something that I get it. There's a lot of us in the community that stream, and we share, it's all opinions, right? And you see them flip-flopping and you struggling and selling and buy sell trade groups. And I get it. It's very overwhelming. This has been it's life happens. I get it. Shit happens. Life happens. But you have to, I mean, it's all about setting those goals. If you started off dedicated to the Attack of the Clones line, it's gonna suck. Some of you out there are dedicated to that silly cartoon Bad Batch. I joke about it. I may pick on you, but you know what? I respect you, because if you're committed to collecting that whole motley crew, you know what? If that's what makes you happy, and that's what you strive to achieve, then that's awesome. That really is cool. It's not my cup of tea, other than I bought Echo because he had protocol droids. And Star Wars droids are always going to have a safe place. Star Wars droids are always going to have a refuge. They're always going to be refugee. I mean, they're always going to be welcomed in my collection. That's just how it is. So, legit question: do prequel era collectors really care about C3PO? I felt about a year or so ago, I felt that C3PO was a character that most Star Wars collectors kind of just put up with. Like, they know they needed C3PO if they were building it's kind of silly to boast your Star Wars collection. Look at my Star Wars collection. Look at my Star Wars collection. I got the New Hope line, and you have R2D2, and there's no C3PO. Now, in Hot Toys' defense, this is the first version, but true diehard Star Wars fans have known that there was a high-end die-cast C3PO available as early as 2012. He was pricey. I still have mine, the Tamashii Nations Bandai, but he's always been around. And then you had the alternative, you had the Sideshow C3PO, which I ended up buying the very it was released in 2013, and I sold them. I go, this is a joke. The Sideshow C3PO, because I got my Tamashii Nations C3PO first, and then the year later I got the Sideshow C3PO. I'm like, I go, what is this? I go, this is like the poor cousin. Like, this is a joke. Even my early review on it, like, I was just offended by it. And the Sideshow C3PO that I had was the Sideshow Special Edition where the arm would detach and had like the exposed wires. I got rid of it. I go, it doesn't make any sense when I have a superior version and then you're putting it next to an inferior version. It doesn't make it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But again, I'm excited. I think the C3PO is going to be fantastic. And then again, for those of you out there that are dedicated to the Attack of the Clones lineup, having the super battle droids, having the Geonosian battle droids, having all of these guys together, to me, it's gonna be a really cool setup. Yeah, it's just, but I understand, Denobi, I only need one. And that's the thing too with C3PO. C3PO is kind of like Darth Vader. You only really need one Darth Vader, right? You only really need one Darth. I have Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. Am I getting the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader? Sure, I am, because it's Return of the Jedi. But for most Hot Toy Star Wars collectors, you just technically need a decent Darth Vader, right? Some of you may buy all of the Darth Vaders. Cool, right? Like me, if Darth Vader is your main two Star Wars character, cool. For me, it's the droids. I love the Star Wars droids. I love them, and I think Hot Toys is knocking it out of the park, doing a fantastic job with the Star Wars droids. Even though to me the award will still maintain with Tamashii Nations because I think they knocked it out of the park. But my opinion can change when I get the Return of the Jedi C3PO. So it's Sideshow 3PO was serviceable like R2D2, 250 or whatever it was. You're right. There was a thrifty version of R2D2 available, and I think it still is. They can't, and it's an old model. It's an old it's just an old, like, it's just they keep reissuing it, and it lacks the Sideshow C3PO. My God, if there's a product that lacks imagination and scope, it's definitely that. The R2D2 from Sideshow is one that's always been, don't get the camera too close to it and don't shake it too violently or else you might break it. It was never a very sturdy product. It just wasn't. Hot Toys droids, and that's true. Yeah, it's no big secret. It is what it is. I've always loved the droids. So again, I don't want to see anybody get punished, but my God, this everything about this looks fantastic. I haven't decided if I'm going to USB hack it. I think I can. I don't want. I need to figure out how to run the cable. If I could run a power source, a really thin wire from the head through its back torso I don't think I can run it. If I can figure it out, I just don't want a dangling wire from the back of C3PO's head, unless it is the Rise of Skywalker C3PO, where he's being hacked by the droid Smith, and he speaks in Smith. So I mean, I'm not talking about the movie, but to have like the cables and stuff run through the back of his head and have his eyes turn red as he speaks in Smith with the I dig that. I would welcome that, right? It's not C3PO's fault that the movie is a quack, but I would still buy that version. And to me, that would make sense. To have C3PO in a chair being hacked by the droid Smith speaking in Sith, that'd be cool. I'm like, oh, that'd be a really neat setup. And I can USB hack that version and just have his eyes, red, And my God, I think I can even probably on the if it sits in a chair, I can probably even use like a tiny Bluetooth speaker and just have it speak Sith. That'd be cool. That'd be kind of neat. So yeah. So yeah, like look at this. This just looks incredible. This just looks I can't wait. I hope it's I haven't gotten this was a day one pre-order from Sideshow. I went directly to Sideshow for this guy because I wanted to get him as soon as possible. I can't wait to have him in my collection. I decided to let go the Kenobi line, except for Vader and Kenobi, to focus on the prequels. All in for the Attack of the Clones line. The time of release is too short for, and I get it. It's very overwhelming. It can get very crowded, and Hot Toys for a while there they pressed the speed pedal. They've kind of throttled back though, so I feel like they've kind of slowed down on Star Wars. Maybe not. Maybe because I'm not like any Star Wars character from the Book of Boba Fett. It's been banned. It's none of that shit's entering my collection. I'm not having any of that in my collection from Book of Boba Fett. The Kenobi show, the Disney Plus Kenobi show, I don't think I want anything from that show in my collection. I'm not even sure if I'm even going to get the Vader there. I think the Vader's a joke. That whole fight scene was a farce. So I don't have anything on pre-order from the Kenobi. I don't want anything from that show in my collection. That show, like I was embarrassed. I mean, if there's ever been a time that I was ever embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan, it was when that show was being broadcasted. It was just that, and then the other one was the Book of Boba Fett. Those two shows, my God, talk about a cancer that needed to be plucked out. Wow. Yeah, I've seen a couple reviews already, Dylan, on the Attack of the Clones droid. So I can't wait. To me, it looks fantastic. Yeah. In my chart, I still have 31 SKU released from Star Wars to date. Yeah, I mean, if you're dedicated to just Star Wars and not collecting DC or Marvel like I am, more power to you. So I have to be very nitpicky. I have to be very conservative because there is a lot of characters that I'm just not buying from the Star Wars universe. And there's a ton. There is a ton. Yeah. Everything about this guy looks great. Yeah. So that's my analogy. I mean, it's just, look, man, it's gonna suck if you sleep on this guy, on the Attack of the Clones C3PO, then you realize down the road when you start to get your Padme, your Anakin, your super battle droid, how much you're gonna miss. Yeah, I mean, just having this whole setup here. I mean, didn't most of us fight to get in line for the artisan Anakin? So I know there's Anakin love out there. There just is. So to have Anakin on a swoop bike, right, about to go attack some Tusken Raiders and have C3PO and R2 in the desert overlooking them, with Padme in tears, bawling or something. It's pretty cool. Don't hold your breath. I don't think we're going to get another Dooku. I don't think we're going to get another Dooku release. I don't see it. Yeah. What is this? You don't have Cad Bane. Why would I want Cad Bane? You mean Cad Lame, right? I was told he was one of the greatest badass bounty hunters in the galaxy. He was a joke. He was a joke. He was an embarrassment to the bounty hunter lineup. Yeah. Yeah. Cad Lame really lived up to his reputation. It was a joke. It really was. I don't give a shit. I need to get the little droid though. The little Tonto droid, but I don't want that. I don't want that clown. No thanks. No thanks. No thanks. No, that was a joke. That was such an embarrassment. I tell you, that was that did not work out. Nope. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on Attack of the Clones on C3PO. And yeah, he is definitely one of my most excited figures to get. My second one is Doc Ock. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get Doc Ock. So let's transition. Look at that. That's cool. Look at this guy. This guy right here. I am stoked. I've seen a couple reviews on this guy, and I had concerns about the R&D that Hot Toys was going to do for the arms, because I know what those mechanical arms should look. They should have depth. It should have wiring exposed. You should be able to see through them. And I remember there was a Spider-Man with the advanced suit diorama with the tentacle base. I don't have that set up. Where I saw the reviews on that, on the advanced suit Spider-Man with the diorama, and the tentacles looked kind of shoddy. They looked kind of cheap. And I'm like, oh, like they didn't look very good. They didn't look very well. And when this guy was announced with the blogger photos, and then I saw the close-ups on some of the first look videos, I was blown away. I was 100% smitten. It was just like, wow, they did it. Like, they did the mechanical arms right, and then some. Like, I couldn't believe it. I have this guy day one pre-order through Sideshow. I haven't gotten my notification on yet. And yeah, I know there were collectors out there that were worried about the face sculpt. The face sculpt didn't really bother me. That wasn't my concern, because I honestly, mean, it's probably maybe a 7 or an 8, because they captured the likeness of the deep fake Alfred Molina looking young from Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought they did it. Yeah, I thought they did a decent a job on that, really. And something tends to happen where collectors need to just kind of like base their own opinion and not follow the popular opinion, right? Because this whole Doc Ock scenario, it feels just a tad bit empty. It feels a tad bit fake as far as the critique goes towards the head sculpt. I don't think the head sculpt is as bad as what collectors are saying. But the problem is that I do feel that some collectors are 100% in denial. You see, because they decided to take the leap of faith on buying a knockoff third-party pirated Doc Ock figure. I think it was from like it was from Toys Era. And you had collectors defending it. I didn't. I love Doc Ock. Doc Ock is one of my all-time favorite figures. And I'm going to tell you, if there's ever been a time where my heart was broken, it was when I received my Toys Era Doc Ock. I took it like an insult. And I remember at the time critiquing it, and everybody just giving me shit over it. Like, you should be grateful. You should be thankful someone's making you. And I wasn't, because my ideology is if you can't do it right, then don't make it at all. It's not worth it. And I couldn't friggin' believe it. Where everybody was just kind of bitching about this head sculpt, and I'm like, it looks like the deep fake Alfred Molina head sculpt. And then once you put some glasses and goggles, it's passable. In fact, I remember when I critiqued the Toys Era head sculpt, and it just like everybody just, I don't know, it felt like people were just against me at the time. And even just recently, like, is it because you hate Doc Ock? Is it because you're overwhelmed? Is it because you can't? Because I get it. Look, I get it. The Toys Era was I paid $250, and this guy here is what, $360, right? So I couldn't believe it. I couldn't be like really you're gonna complain about that, but because you decided to take the leap of faith on the Toys era, and you fulfilled your Doc Ock quota for your Spider-Man collection, then you're gonna shit on the official Hot Toys version, because I can't defend this monstrosity. This is a joke. Like, they got everything wrong with this thing. Everything. They got the head sculpt wrong. They got the body wrong. They got the tentacles wrong. Like, even the stitching, even the coat, everything was just like, they got it wrong. They got it wrong. So, and this is something that I wish collectors in the last week or so would have brought up on the screen to jog your memory. This is a muscular, super thin body. Alfred Molina was packing some pounds back in 2004. The color of the tentacles are wrong. The tentacles don't have the internal wiring mechanism. The head sculpt is a joke. But yet you had collectors out there joking, like, to the point insulting the Hot Toys Doc Ock. But you're gonna to me, it says a lot about your opinion and as a collector, and where you stand to help benefit. Are you as an influencer, are you looking out for your own interest? Or are you looking out for the community's best interest? Anytime I've ever done a live stream, I've always sought out to provide a benefit. Share what I've learned. Share my mistakes that I've done. If I've made a mistake, I don't want you wonderful folks out there to share in my pain. And I'm not going to sit here and be in denial and convince you that this joke is the shit. I can't take you seriously. And when I see a YouTube influencer act like that, that to me tells me you have no credibility in this community. If you're defending this piece of shit and you're throwing jokes at the Hot Toys version, your opinion has no credibility in my eyes. That's just how I see it. I just know everything. Like, look at this thing. Doc Ock is one of my all-time favorite villains. And this company couldn't get shit right. They couldn't get anything right. And because collectors, a lot of us are in denial. You know, they just don't want to admit, oh, Denobi was only $200. It wasn't $200. It was $200. I paid $250. It's the price of a Hot Toys. Wasn't cheap. I am in a business to curate my collection. I want my collection to be the shit. My collection is a representation of me and my taste and what I like. And what they did here with this guy is a marvel. It just is. It just is. I would have preferred, instead of a smiling face, maybe an angry face or like even a neutral face. But that's something, to me, the head sculpt, like I said, I'm going to give it a 7. I can fix with a good pair of goggles. I'm not even those little neonic glasses there. No, I have a pair of goggles. I have one right now, actually, right here. That I already have just a pair of goggles right there. That's it. We'll fix that. To me, Doc Ock needs to wear goggles. I don't like the look, and you'll be able to display yours in any which way. But I think everything about this guy is fantastic. It just is. And the way that you can see the internal wiring inside of it, like I get goosebumps. Because that's how Doc Ock should be. And his tentacles should glow red. That's, to me, that's an easy, I can solve that. My Doc Ock's tentacles will absolutely glow red at the tip. Nate, the man, the myth, the legend, like, comment. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Hello. So to me, they knocked out of the park right here. But again, if you need proof, like when I had my Toys era, I spent so much labor in trying to save that. So I showed you what the Toys era looked like, where the tentacles were just great. They lacked, my God, if there's ever something that lacked scope and imagination, are the tentacles that came with the Toys era, because these things should pop. They should, like, oh my God, they're yellow. They have that yellow hue to it. You can kind of see like the yellow markings on it, like that, not just silver arms lacking the wire scope. In fact, I'll show you this. Right here. Like, this is the Toys era right here. And I had to drill through each of those segments to fit in very thin guitar wire strings. And it took me like a week to do 3 arms. I didn't even finish the 4th arm. Like, I lost hope. But I did the paint app. I added some LED lights to it. Like, I think this is one of the arms that I didn't even add the wires to it, right? You can kind of see where they need that internal mechanism, like, and then this head sculpt here. And yet there's people out there, there's like collectors out there that are defending this joke. Like, what? Like, no. Like, really? Oh, I got Doc Ock already, Denobi from Toys Era. I'm good. No, you're not good, my friend. You're not. Because they got it wrong. And it would be an insult to have an incomplete Toys Era Doc. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of see like the wire. Like, I added those wires. That's a Toys Era Doc Ock. I had to drill through each of those segments to get that. Like, that was a bitch. That was a bitch to get those thin guitar wire strings in there. I just couldn't believe it. No credit. And yet they were, well, it was more, see, I didn't know if it was an excuse or a tap out excuse. I couldn't figure, like, oh, I got Doc Ock already and I'm happy with the Toys Era. Like, really? That's how you're going to represent the character? Like, I just couldn't get it. I didn't. But again, everybody has their taste as to how they collect and how they curate and how they manage their collection. For me, this right here is awesome. Like, they got everything right. They got the tailoring right. They got the outfit right. They got his body proportion right. Everything. The sphere that comes out of the mechanical arm. Hello, Peter. Like, they got everything. Yeah. Just a reminder, the ARF and the Walker's citrus in. Yes, Nate. Everything is just, it's going out. Everything is just going up in low batches and more and so forth. So, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it is. The pressure is 100% real. Yeah, but like the Stark Tech, like, this is just awesome. I love everything about this guy. Like, this is something that, man, oh man, I can't wait for Sideshow to charge me and ship this guy. Like, I look forward to this. I really, really do. Yeah. Yeah. I just, again, everything about it, they did it right. And as a Spider-Man fan, like, he will be a welcomed addition to my Spider-Verse. Yeah. I'll even try to figure out to see if I can, because I would love to have him displayed hanging underneath the overpass. If I can figure out how I can get if I can embed magnets to his mechanical arm so I can have him hanging from the ceiling of my Moducase. You can kind of see my Spider-Verse. There's a couple of them already hanging in the ceiling there. I'll figure out a way without damaging them to Era. So yeah, and so it is what it is. So let's get to the last topic of the night. Let's get into the HasLab. My God, boy, they're just going bonkers with the HasLab here. So we just finished one HasLab campaign, which is the Ghost. For those of you who are able to score the Ghost, man, bravo, because I get it. With a sticker price of $500, it was a huge commitment, especially for something that's it's not anticipated to release for over a year. I think it's a 2025. It's a little over a year to get the Ghost with close to 22,000 backers. So in an already saturated, crowded market of so many things to buy, it was a huge sacrifice. I get it, especially if you're like a Black Series collector or Vintage Series collector, Star Wars, to cough up the 5 and change. Man, it would have been bonkers. It just, but I did back it. I've never been disappointed with a HasLab. HasLab's, it's just one of those products because there's a finite batch. You can never go wrong. You're not going to lose. It's hard to lose when you back a HasLab because even if you back it and your opinion changes, it's not like you're going to lose money. There's only a finite batch made, and it'll be an easy flip, an easy profitable flip, say the least, on the secondary market. Now, after that campaign has ended, they've blessed us, maybe, or this is an odd one. A 24-inch Giant Man, comic book version too, mind you. I would have preferred a dual set. I would have preferred, because I know they're asking $200 for this guy. I would have preferred a deluxe set where for $300 you get 2 giant mans. You would get the comic book version, and then you'd get the MCU version of Scott Lang, and also include their Marvel Legends counterparts. That would have been how I would have done this set. But they stuck with just the comic book version, and $200. See, this is tough though, because it lacks, the word of the night is scope. This lacks scope because I backed the Sentinel, I backed Galactus, and both of those figures, when they arrived and I unboxed them and I modded them, were fantastic pieces. They put a lot of work, a lot of detail, a lot of lights. Like, they looked alive. Galactus and the Sentinel, like, fantastic, phenomenal pieces. But this here looks like a 6-inch Marvel Legends just kind of blown up. And it lacks imagination. It lacks scope. And they're asking $200 for it. I saw more imagination from the Rancor than from this guy. To put that, just to kind of put in perspective, I saw more creativity. I saw more playability with the Rancor than this guy. I saw the Rancor, the HasLab Rancor, was one of those pieces that I felt collectors didn't see the full picture, and I did. I'm like, you folks out there are missing the full picture. Like, this is potentially grand. And talk about hindsight regret. I mean, when you saw the Rancor show up on Book of Boba Fett as a Star Wars collector, and you kind of it made you think. So, my Galactus is he's in the. I don't know if you can see him from here though. Let me see. He's up here. You can see him up there. Oh, can you see? Oh, hold on. Yeah, he's up there. In fact, you can't even see the Sentinel, but the Sentinel's back there too. Yeah. So he's back there. Yeah. So that's where he's at. I have the Sentinel in that corner, and then I have Galactus over there. And at one point, I was going to power him. He's really easy. He's a really easy USB hack. And but the problem with the Sentinel, oh, I remember now. I know why I couldn't USB hack him. It's because of the circuitry involved. So I can give them power, and when you turn them on, they're on a timer. And I can bypass that, but I'd have to get inside to the circuit board, and I didn't want to do it. So it would have been, it's easy to run power, especially to the Sentinel. I would have had him like battle damage with cables and wires, but because their circuit board was on a timer, I would have had to gotten inside, and I didn't want to damage them because they're grails. They just are. They're a finite batch of these pieces were made, and you're never going to see them again. Don't kid yourself. Don't let other collectors tell you, oh, Hasbro will release them. No. The HasLab committee, their board, it's all under separate wing. There's a reason why the HasLab system works, right? It's to test out products that may necessarily not survive on their own in a retail landscape, right? So like the Rancor, like the Riva lightsaber, those were very questionable pieces that probably would not have succeeded on their own. They would have probably dumped in a lot of R&D, and they would have ended up on the bargain bin. They would have been discounted considerably, and that means the company would have lost money. And Hasbro is not a charity. They are not a nonprofit. They are 100% for profit. So to minimize the risk, that's what HasLab is for. So it's not like, so when I see comments on like, oh, it'll teach Hasbro for not listening to us and so forth, and now they lost. Now we'll teach them, and the Rancor won't get made. Well, the only people that will lose, it's just a collector. It just means that department won't get their bonus or their quota, right? But Star Wars isn't the only IP that Hasbro manages. In fact, it's not even one of the top 10s for the company. It's let's just look. Transformers brings in a lot more than Star Wars. So going back to this guy here, Marvel Legends is still, from what it still sells, still is good, and with a small target of 10,000 units, it's most likely going to hit its goal at $200. I'm not going to buy multiples of this. I'll buy one just to say I have one in my collection. I just don't have a lot of faith as the popularity and the rarity of this guy. Maybe if it's a small batch, it'll blow up. Who knows? But I didn't even make it to the tiers. Someone said the tiers. I don't even know what the tiers are because I didn't even research the tiers because the figure was just, it's okay. 24-inch enlarged Marvel Legends, I guess. It's a tough one. So, but I mean, if you're collecting Marvel and Marvel Legends, it'll look bad, especially the comic book version. I just would have preferred an MCU version. I would have loved to have gotten a Scott Lang version from the MCU, at least like a dual set, because I collect several Marvel Legends, but I still stick to the MCU, the cinematic representation of the characters. Where are the tiers? All right, so 12,000 units, you get the zombie head. Oh, okay, right? Turn your hero into a horror with a giant man zombie faceplate inspired by the Marvel Zombies comics. Brings insatiable hunger. Well, that's right. It was in the What If. So you do see this guy in the What If. Okay. 14,000 backers to unlock Giant Man. And you get the Secret Invasion scroll head. Okay. So it's the heads. You get the heads. That's fine. And then is that it? It's just the 2 tiers? Boy, they're not. It's okay. I'll buy one. It's just not exciting. It really isn't. The Tears of the Skull has on me. It really isn't that exciting for me. I'll buy one. I'm not going to buy multiples I just don't have much faith in this, but it would be cool to have a giant figure like this next to my Sentinel and so forth. It probably is. Gilberto, it's punishment for not backing the HasLab last year. But here's the thing, though. Every Marvel HasLab has been successful. Now, if you're referring to Star Wars HasLab, that's a different boat. That's a different issue. Star Wars HasLab and Star Wars Marvel, it's like oil and water. They don't mix. And when it comes to the Marvel HasLab, 100% successful. It's the Star Wars stuff that's been a hit or miss. Now, the Ghost was a huge success, right? 22,000 units, giant ass, 32-inch wide, 32 highly detailed ship, compartments, vintage series. It's phenomenal. Mind you, though, when the campaign ended, 2 hours afterwards, I got charged. Like Hasbro collected their money and then some. They're like, we want to get paid. So I got charged immediately on the Ghost. I thought I was getting robbed. I got like a bank alert. I'm like, what is this shit? What? Someone's hacking. Oh, it's HasLab. So it's punishment for the Star Wars community, not for the Marvel. The Marvel HasLabs have been very successful. So, oh, well, we don't talk about the Ghost Rider. We don't talk about Ghost Rider. No, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Boy, talk about a fart in the wind there. He came and went. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? The engine of vengeance. Look, no, that was rough. All right, you get points for that one. But I guess so. It still probably has a probability compared to Marvel, right? So active projects, they're halfway there. They're gonna, I mean, at $200 in your Marvel. If you are a Marvel Legends collector, this is a guarantee at $200. So, they've been knocking out of the park with the G.I. Joe HasLabs. I did back the Dragonfly. I didn't back the Transformers Deathosaurus. I don't do that. Yeah, look at that. The vintage, look at that. The Ghost. Look, wow, 21,768, close to 22,000 backers. Expected to ship, in a year. I take it back. This will be a nice little Christmas gift to get, huh? This will be really nice. Yeah. I wish Marvel HasLab would consider dioramas like X-Men. I wish they would too. Yeah. I really wish it. But the Ghost at 500, I mean, think about it. At $500. I mean, even the Razor Crest, they weren't asking that much, were they? Razor Crest was what, $350, $400? I love my Razor Crest. I love it. That was a technological achievement on Hasbro for what they were to do with the Razor Crest. They made that ship fun. Talk about a ship great for photos, display, and then some. The Razor Crest was done fantastic. And I expect nothing less from the Ghost. And clearly, the collectors who have gotten a taste of what a Star Wars HasLab ship can do, yeah, it'll be very it's gonna be very rewarding. Very rewarding, yeah. No, I did not. And I have a legitimate reason. I have a legitimate reason why I couldn't back the Cobra Hiss at the time, because there was another campaign running at that time. And I sunk my chips on the other campaign at the time. It was the Tomy Star Trek Enterprise. That same week, I shit you not. And I went hard on that. On the Tomy Star Trek Enterprise, the giant 28-inch die-cast Enterprise ship. So I went heavy on that. And I had to pass on the Cobra Hiss. I don't know if I'm going to chase it on the secondary market. I haven't decided that yet. But I went heavy on the Proton Pack. I bought multiples of the Dragon Copter because that looks fun. That looks like it's going to be a great little hack to add some lights, and I'm pretty confident I can get those propellers to spin. Yeah, the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dragonfly. How many did they do there? There's a 25,000 units. Yeah. And I saw that at Comic-Con. Hasbro had it on display, and I was like blown away by this thing. This thing is huge. Photos don't do it any justice. Look at that, internal lights. They added some lights. And I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure I can get those propellers to spin. Shouldn't be too difficult. Past projects, the Barge, Cybertron, the Sentinel, the Razor Crest, Galactus, and Star Wars Rancor not funded. The Proton Pack, the Striker, I have that. Engine of Vengeance, and the Black Series. Yeah, thank God this thing get funded. It wasn't even close. This was not even close. What was close and was scaring the shit out of the community was the Rancor. This is the one that like had people spooked on the 11th hour, because they knew that if they didn't pre-order this thing, they were going to be punished on the secondary market. They knew it, because if it was a small batch, these things would have been, if they didn't fund this and it would have hit its goal, this thing probably in the secondary market would have been easily, it would have hit probably $1,500. Easy on a small batch number with only a finite amount out there in the world. Shit. Just look at the sail barge that's breaking $2,000 on eBay, because there's only a finite amount out there. It's not like Hasbro is gonna heat up the printing press and start. And no, that was made at a different time before 2020. Things were very different before 2020. Labor was a lot more affordable before that. So yeah, so a lot of good stuff. A lot of yeah. So just to kind of end it on the whole Giant Man, it's like it's a very lackluster piece. I'm only gonna get one, and I will be shocked if it hits its tiers. Seriously, yeah, I will be very shocked. Yeah, I would have preferred the cinematic representation. Yeah, I just don't. I didn't read this guy. Like, yeah, you see him in the What If cartoon, but no, it's okay. It's very bland for me. So that's it. That's gonna be it for tonight. That is gonna be it for tonight. Well, you know what? It was fun hanging out with you wonderful folks out there. I got to share a few opinions. Hopefully, we don't get any more surprises from Hot Toys. No more drops, bombardments. And you folks out there that follow most of us here in YouTube land, I hope that you'll still be around next year and you don't get in trouble during Christmas, because I get it. The nightmare before Christmas, it can be brutal. So good night, folks.
The pain.